Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop us a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it does genuinely help the channel as well. Now, into this week's issue, we are on issue number 3 of Stormbringer magazine. And this week we have 5 minis. And to be precise, we have 5 Stormcast Eternal Vindictors. So these are your new kind of foot soldiers for the Stormcast Eternal. So if you are a Stormcast Eternals player and you haven't already got these, I'm not sure why you wouldn't. But these are kind of replacing the Liberators. They have long spears instead of a hammer and shield, or the Sigmarite good old Sequitur maces and stuff like that the Sequiturs use, and these are pretty cool. So these have the new armor, so the new Thunderstrike armor, which is a little bit different, and we'll get a little bit more information about that later. But with these, they're pretty cool. These are not bad minis at all, so you do have an alternative build option for each of these guys, because there is helmets, or you can choose to not have helmets. Entirely up to you, but no matter what you do, even if you choose to have them all without helmets, you can utilise the helmets as scatter terrain on other pieces later on by just trimming off some plastic. So, not too shabby in all honesty. Anyway, let's jump into this week's issue. So this week, obviously, we're going to be greeted by more of our history and background for the realms, and this is obviously going into the realm of beasts. So, the ground quakes, the skies are filled with animal shrieks, and the smell of blood is on the wind. This is Ghur, the realm of beasts. In this mortal realm, all creatures and plants, and even the land masses themselves, are deadly predators. Only the very strongest survive the eternal hunt of Ghur. The rest are devoured. So, Ghur is the realm of beast, a land forged from savage magic. Everything that lives in Ghur is driven by predatory instincts, from the colossal birds that inhabit the icy peaks of the ferocious creatures that roam the bone-strewn savannas. Humans live in walled cities built into the skeletons of ancient monsters. Outside, massive beasts hunt each other in a never-ending struggle for survival. So, with Ghur, it is obviously the realm of beasts. It is a weird place. It is filled with savage magic. So, as kind of mentioned before, all of the immortal realms are based on a individual wind of magic, and in each realm a certain magic is more prevalent. So, for instance, Azyr is the magic of heavens and that kind of blue magic. There is Shyish, which is filled with death magic, and it is the realm of death. And Ghur is the realm of beasts, so it is all to do with the magic of beasts and savagery. So there is a lot to do with that. So with the inhabitants of good old Ghur as well, there is a lot going on with them. Obviously, it is a land of monsters. The biggest monsters in the mortal realms can be found in Ghur. These creatures grow more dangerous all the time as they feed on a rich diet of magic and the flesh of lesser beasts, which is always nice. Each realm has its own particular realm stone. The beast magic of Ghur solidifies into animal bones made of amber. Wizards use these bones to turn themselves into beasts, which just sounds a little bit weird. But yeah, war has been rampaging throughout Ghur for a long time as well, and it's hard to claim territory or even land within that realm because it is forever shifting, ever changing, and yeah, filled with monsters, which is always really good fun. Talking of monsters, we move on to the monsters of Ghur. This is a section, I believe this series is going to go through all the different big monsters that you may find in Ghur that can be friendly, or could be absolutely horrible and you not want to bump into one in the middle of a jungle or a forest. So there's going to be a lot of that, and it is done through the words of a person as well. So I'm not going to read it because it's too much story and I'm not a voice actor, I don't want to do that type of thing. But yeah, they're pretty cool. So you're going to find out a lot of information about them. So there is the first 2 that we get to find out a little bit about. So it's been annotated down the side as well in this kind of script. we have first off the Maw Crushers. So some people mistake Maw Crushers for a type of drake or dragon, but Maw Crushers are meaner, harder, and much stupider. So the tiny brains of these creatures is filled with nothing but hate, and their massive fists can smash a Stormcast Eternals to bits in moments. Watch out for a Maw Crusher's mouth. Even if you escape its massive teeth, the power of its bellowing roar can turn your organs to liquid. So that's definitely a beast you might not want to get on the wrong side of, and definitely want to try and avoid. They're pretty cool, and I'm not gonna lie, the Maw Crushers are generally used by the Aurochs, and they like to utilise them. And if you are a premium subscriber, the second kit you get from the premium magazines is a Maw Crusher, which is a pretty damn cool unit, in all honesty. So really good stuff there. And then we move on, we've got a Carnosaur. So the Carnosaurs are massive lizards who live in jungles of Ghur. Only the Seraphon have successfully managed to tame these beasts. Always check to see if a Carnosaur has a rider. If there is a lizard man on its back, it might be tame, and it could well be there to help you. If there's not, well, try to run fast and look less tasty than the rest of your companions. So with Carnosaurs, best way to describe them is kind of like a T-Rex really. So think of giant dinosaur, like a Carnotaurus or anything like that, or a Ceratosaurus, or even or as I say, a T-Rex. Generally utilised by the lizard men. However, there are of course feral ones who like nothing to do apart from they will happily just eat anything that they see. So there is wild ones on in and around. So pretty damn cool. And I'm not gonna lie, the Carnosaur is probably one of the nicest minis as well, because I'm a big dinosaur fan, so I genuinely like them. Anyway, moving on. The Stormcast Eternals. So this is the Stormcast Vindictors, not Vindicators, as I keep almost saying. So Vindictors are the ultimate defensive troops. Armoured in Stormforged Sigmarite and wielding weapons that crackle with lightning, they will hold the line and destroy any who draw close. And obviously you get to utilise the tables for everything to go with them. So all their background, their story, their history, and much, much more. Finding out a bit more info about their armour. So the armour is a new armour. So obviously they changed a lot since the Liberators and the Sequitors. Hadn't really changed much from the Liberators, and now these ones have changed vastly. So these are kind of like the Primaris Space Marines in a way. So they've got the new armour, which is kind of a little bit sleeker. So kind of like the good old Librarian and Phobos armour, for instance, and stuff like that from 40k. So Thunderstrike armour is made using flexible, durable, and woven with runes of protection by the Dwarden god of Grungni. And every one of these suits is a masterpiece that would take a mortal artisan years to complete. Thunderstrike armour does not just guard the wearer's body, but also their soul. Now, the way I remember reading about this and hearing about this is the Thunderstrike armour has an explosive quality to it. So for instance, before, if you killed a Stormcast Eternal, the way that they be in lore, what would happen is their soul would shoot up and go straight to heaven, the realm of Azir. With Vindictors, what generally happens instead is, because the souls were getting trapped by the winds of magic from Shyish and the Nagash's dark, devious plans, which were interrupted and manipulated by Chaos and more. So the Thunderstrike armour was designed in its place. So it basically empowers the soul of the Stormcast Eternal, forces it upwards, but utilises it as like an explosive. So it detonates. So anything that's in too close a range can get killed by the explosion that is caused by the Thunderstrike armour, kind of forcing out that soul. A little bit different, a little bit weird, but it works and it's not too bad. So pretty cool stuff there. Obviously on the other pages we've got other tables, so we have more and more bits to kind of roll, so you can utilise them to give you unit names and much, much more, and their traits, and give the Stormcast Eternal some names if you really, really want to. entirely up to you if you do this, or if you want to use an online name generator, your choice. But they are pretty cool, and it's not bad. It works very, very nicely depending on how you want to build your army and stuff like that. It can be cool, pretty cool. Then we have our build guides. Very, very simple. The way it's kind of deciding that you should build them is not using many of the helmetless heads. However, it's up to you. I like both. So they look pretty cool if you're using with helmets. They look pretty cool if you don't use helmets. It's your choice at the end of the day. Either way, have fun with them. That is the main thing you can do. So enjoy it. Then you got your how to kind of play. So we go through all the basics again. So if you're new to Age of Sigmar, this is perfect for you if you want to learn how to play. So it's all about utilising your dice, which sounds fairly simple in all honesty, but you do have rules where you can re-roll stuff if need be, and much, much more. And obviously we're going to go through over the course of a few weeks how to utilise these, including their modifiers and more. So this will give you all the step-by-step basics, essentially, to kind of get going with the Age of Sigmar. So really good stuff. Then we get our how to use war scrolls. So war scrolls are kind of like your data sheets that you have for 40k. Every character, unit and mini has a war scroll. So the war scroll gives it its how many wounds they can take, what their range is, what weapons they have, what range of weapons there is, how much they can move, what their armor save is and stuff like that, and their bravery and much, much more, and loads of other details that you may need to utilize throughout your games. We'll get war scrolls as we go through the magazine for every unit. Don't worry about it too much now, because the walkthrough kind of gives us everything that we need to do to play the game. If we were given war scrolls, it would be confusing as all kind of hell, but yeah, not bad. Anyway, we move through. So we've got the playthrough. So playthrough, fairly simple. It's all about utilising these circles to kind of get going. Up to you how you want to play this and if you want to go through this. If you're an experienced player, obviously you're just going to be building up armies. Utilise it how you will, but still really good. So you'll need to just wait for the war scrolls, which is a downside to it, but otherwise very, very good. And that's it. So it's pretty cool. It's not bad. Enjoy. Nah. Obviously with this magazine as well, because it's fairly new, obviously you do get a little pull out thing, advertising, subscribing, entirely up to you if you want to do it. If you do, obviously you do get some pretty cool stuff. So if you do, you get a Maw-Krusha as your second premium issue, but your first one is Krondys, Sons of Dracothian, which is a fantastic mini. If you stay with premium, obviously you get the Dankhold Troggoth and 3 Rock Troggoths as well, which are very cool units in all honesty. So yeah, either way you're going to get some really good bits out of that. Then moving on, next week we have our first paint issue. So 4 pots of paint. We'll get Auric Flesh, Lead Belcher, Cantor Blue and Retributor Armor. These are all the basic colours for all the minis that we're going to get. Well, most of the minis that we're going to get. So it's not too bad. But these will be very, very useful. You also get your first brush. In all honesty, it's a Citadel standard brush. They're terrible. You can get far, far better. If you need brushes, Poundland, W.H. Smiths, anywhere like that will sell some really, really good ones. Just, you know, or even pop into your local Warhammer store. Either way, you're going to get some good ones that will be far better than that brush. Moving on though, issue 5 is the exclusive Stormcast Eternal Praetor Prime mini. This is a mini that is exclusive to the magazine. Everybody will be after it because they will want that figure so they can resell it. But it is a really cool one. She looks awesome. She looks really, really good. And I can't wait to get a bit more information about the Praetors as well, because I do really like them. They have a bit of a cool look with that big massive cloak. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you sometime soon. Bye-bye now.